It is scientifically proven that multitasking is extremely inefficient. Our brain is only meant to focus on one thing at a time, and every time you switch your focus, it takes time to get to full speed again. Imagine this as if you are on a train that goes at full speed. What if the train switched focus all of a sudden and decided that the opposite direction should be the new focus? Well, first it would take quite a long time to stop the train. Then it would take a very long time to accelerate the train back to full speed in the opposite direction. Now imagine that your work focus is like a train. You need to stay on track, stay focused, and feel the rhythm of the engine as you progress forward towards your destination. Complete focus is one of the key secrets to powerful productivity. Alright, so how do you guide your mind to 100% focus on one single task at a time? There are actually many techniques you can use to help yourself. And here are my top methods that I have used personally and that have worked great for me. 1. Remove distractions and temptations. We as humans are so easily distracted. As soon as we hear or see something remotely interesting, we have to struggle really hard to stay focused on whatever we do. And today we are surrounded by so many distractions, it is almost overwhelming for our mind to handle. Phones ringing, text messages and email notifications alerting us, app notifications beeping, and so on. We are living in a noisy world with so many temptations and distractions, and this is one of the main reasons we fail to be productive today. I have found that it is highly effective to remove temptations in your environment that can ruin your focus. It is like when I have cookies or other treats of some kind at home. It is so hard to resist the temptation to not have a cookie when it's right there in front of me. This is not rocket science, it is just human nature. So what can you do to help yourself in this case? Well, that's easy. Remove the cookie from the equation, either by not buying cookies at all or by storing them in a very difficult place to reach where you can't see them. How does this relate to productivity? Well, it is the same principle that applies. Helping ourselves to resist the temptations by simply removing them from our immediate surroundings. This can mean closing all apps and programs that you don't need for the task at hand, switching your phone to Do Not Disturb, turning off all browser tabs and apps that are not necessary for the work you are about to do, switching off the TV, music, or anything that draws your attention, and basically removing anything around you that have a possibility to attract your attention in any way. Make sure your work area is clean and organized, and you should only have the tools and equipment you need in front of you. 2. Use Pomodoro. There is a technique you can use to help you stay focused when you work, and it is called the Pomodoro technique. The way that it works is that you do your focus sessions in 25-minute time slots, followed by a 5-minute break. After 3 repetitions of these time slots, you take a longer 25-minute break. There are apps for your smartphone you can use to time your focus sessions and breaks. Just search for Pomodoro where you download your apps. But I actually find that I like the old school way here, which is to use an ordinary egg timer. I find that the analog ticking sound helps me stay focused and avoid distractions. Whatever you decide to use, make sure that you are strict on the Pomodoro segments. There is psychological science behind the way it works, and you really need to take those 5-minute breaks to be effective. I just think of it as rules. I have to play by the rules in order to win the game. Cheating will only disqualify me. 3. Use triggers. You can help your mind focus by using a cue or trigger of some kind that is the same for every time you want to focus on a task. Now, this one might seem strange, but psychological triggers actually do work. It is like a mantra to help you get into the right mindset. A personal example is that for my work sessions, I always start with a fresh cup of coffee or tea. When I put the coffee or tea cup on the table, that's the psychological trigger for my focus session to start. Then I know that I will go into focus mode. For these triggers to work, you have to build a habit out of them, because it is actually the habit that makes them a trigger. So, the first times you use a new trigger, it won't have the powerful psychological effect. That's why you need to use the same trigger every time. The general rule is that it takes 21 days to develop a habit. So, it would be best if you can do a focus session every day for 21 days and every time use the same trigger. Then you will have a powerful trigger that will help you get into focus mode every time. So what kind of trigger can you use? Well, it can be anything really. For example, making a fresh cup of coffee or tea like I do. Starting a special focus mode playlist of music. Or perhaps snapping your fingers 3 times. Whatever you do choose, make sure it is really simple. Then stick to it and develop the trigger into a strong habit for every time you want to have a productive focus session. Now it's time for you to take action. Write a list of all the things that often grabs your attention, whether it is a distraction or a temptation. Then try to do work in what I call focus sessions, which means to focus 100% on one single task at a time. Doing these 100% focus sessions will be very difficult in the beginning, just like the resistance you feel when you try to develop, for example, an exercise routine every week. But as you strengthen this habit, you will realize how fulfilling it is and how much it really improves your productivity. You know how they say that runners become addicted to running? Well, you can actually become addicted to focus sessions, at least from my personal experience. Simply because how good it feels to be so productive and get so much done in a short amount of time. So remember, stay focused. I'm Mike, signing out, and you rock, my friends.